Time to go to work. Red Pill Phone Tap is back.
We ain't going nowhere.
We've been around. Some of us over here have been working all hours of the day. Some of us have been all the way up. But we didn't forget about you guys. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We could not believe we have never done a topic on this. But in light of current events, it's something we can no longer ignore. Has anybody out there ever heard of an actor named Will Smith?
Sounds familiar.
He sounds familiar. We didn't plan to do this, but since in case any of you don't know Will Smith's, he's an actor here in the United States. I know we have a lot of people overseas listening to us. We're bringing up his IMDb. Will Smith first made his start on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the most popular shows. Anthony, would you call that a timeless?
Oh yeah,
show? I think so.
It's still on. It's still in syndication.
I recently heard a speech by Matthew McConaughey. I'm sure you've seen it, Anthony. You're a McConaughey fan, and he was doing a speech at U of H for the graduates, and he talked about mailbox money. When actors do such a good job that the project keeps going, in, like you said, in syndication. Mm-hmm. And Matthew McConaughey referred to that as mailbox money for actors. Can you wrap your mind around the mailbox money for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, my goodness.
Can you even wrap your mind around it?
No.
I'm playing the Powerball here in Texas tonight. It's to the tune of $685 million.
Ugh.
You guys will be hearing from me a lot more if I win.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the kind of mailbox money he gets from that show. Being the star of that show. How long? I mean, when did it run?
Man, 90s.
I mean, all through the 90s.
Yeah. Early 90s, right?
So it ran through 1990 to 1996. And like I said, one of the largest shows ever. 6 seasons, 7 years. And since 1996, wow, it's been in syndication. It's still playing. Since 1996, this show has been in syndication. Why do we bring up Will Smith? I mean, we could look at all the movies that he's made. Anthony, have you ever heard of a movie called Independence Day?
Yeah.
Wonder if that made any money.
Oh yeah. Any movie, you know how like your favorite rapper or artist or singer or whatever comes out with an album and you're like, yeah, it's like automatically, yeah, I'm gonna go get that album. You don't know what's on the song, but that's your favorite artist, right? So I'm like that with a couple of actors, like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Denzel Washington, Will Smith. I want to see him act, and not so much for his music, even though I did like Summertime, and Parents Don't Understand. I understand those was my jam, but his movies are always excellent, man. He's always done great in his movies.
I mean, the way he's managed, when he comes out, the movie's a blockbuster.
Yeah.
It was an oh shit moment when Netflix did a movie starring Will Smith.
Right.
Called Bright.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, it's damn good.
Yeah.
I don't think... I mean, let's just get it straight. Movies are... We're not curing cancer with movies. Although some actors and actresses, especially the actresses... Yeah. And that's another thing I like about Will Smith. He never fucking acts like that. He never acts like, oh my God, playing Muhammad Ali, this fucking movie's going to cure cancer. By the way, not exaggerating, he played in a movie playing Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time, which was a huge, huge hit. The song "Summertime." I mean, seriously, to this day, I mean, what it came out in 1991, and as soon as you said it, in my mind, immediately I'm thinking, here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a bit of a break from the norm, just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance. It has gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance, but what about a tune that soothes and moves romance? Yeah, I mean, that came out in 1991. I still know the opening of that song, sorta. Give me a break, guys. But it's insane. I'm looking at his discography is nothing short of impressive. When you listen, we can all disagree about music. I'm talking about the dollars that come from it.
Right.
Motherfucker releases music, it's a hit. Big
Men in
Willie
Black.
style.
Men in Black.
William. Yeah. The Men in Black franchise. Had he only done that.
Right.
Had he only done the Men in Black franchise. Wow. Man, that was dope. Right?
Then Legend.
Had he only done Bad Boys.
Oh, man.
Had he only done I Am Legend. Had he only done Independence Day. This is one of the biggest actors in the world. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no buts here. I mean, he's done some movies maybe some of you have forgotten about where he plays alongside Gene Hackman, one of the greatest actors of all time, in Enemy of the State.
That was a good movie.
Even the movies that suck, like Wild Wild West.
I was okay with it.
I was okay with it. I mean, you beat me to it. I was okay with it. I'm like, listen, I'm just taking a bitch to the theater. We're seeing a movie. That's what we used to do back then. Cool.
Did you ever see 7 Pounds?
I have not, but everyone that's seen it has a reaction like, oh my God, you have to see this.
Yeah.
The Pursuit of Happiness.
Man, another banger.
These are all bangers. And if the guy came out with a movie tomorrow,
we're going to go see it.
It would, even if you don't go see it, it's going to be a fucking hit.
Right. He's making one right now. I think he's like playing Serena's father or some shit like that.
Part of the reason people went to go see the first Suicide Squad, they're like, oh shit, Will Smith's in this? Oh, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know Will Smith was in it. Damn. I mean, a recent Disney movie with he's a genie in Aladdin?
Yeah.
How much money do you think he got for that?
Oh man, you know he got paid.
Paid. Bad Boys for Life comes out, and then there's just a string. There's the movie where he was like the gambler. And we were talking about this the other night.
Hitch.
Hitch was a big one.
What was that when he was playing some kind of superhero with the lady?
Oh, Hancock.
These
are all bangers. These are all bangers. I don't think anyone listening to this podcast
this accomplished. I don't know who else is this accomplished.
Me neither. I mean, I don't think anyone listening to this podcast would be offended if I said, hey, you're never going to be as successful as Will Smith.
At all.
I think most people be like, hey, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
No, I'm good. I mean, I don't.
iRobot.
iRobot was a big one. I mean, I still love, I don't care what y'all say. I love that movie, Bright. on Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of people like the shit on that movie. That movie was good to me.
Bad Boys 2. I don't know why they shit on it. Bagger Vance. Bagger Vance is one of those movies like Shawshank Redemption where if it comes on Sunday on regular cable, you'll probably sit there and watch it. Bagger Vance is a story about a guy who has PTSD from the war, played by Matt Damon. Bagger Vance is his caddy, but we find out at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, you might want to cover your ears. We find out at the end of the movie, basically, Will Smith is playing God. It's basically God personified. Trying to teach young Matt Damon a lesson by being his caddy, using golf. It's a very heartwarming story. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, even when he makes just small appearances, like in Anchorman 2, it's hilarious. This guy can move from drama to comedy. But I don't want to belabor the point. I think we all know Will Smith is a bona fide success. Now let's pivot back into the red pill for a moment. What does this mean? Why do we bring up Will Smith and talk about how successful he is? Do you think Will Smith, Anthony, can have any woman on planet Earth pretty much he desires?
Absolutely.
Do you think it would be a good strategy for him to simply pick the one bitch on planet Earth that is not impressed by any of his shit?
You got to think so highly of yourself to believe that
You're better than Will Smith.
I mean,
right?
Astronomically, right?
Oh, God.
Who as men, we're like, nah, I'm going to let him have it. But as a woman, you can be like, he got to earn me.
If you guys have been living under a rock or have been very busy like Anthony and I have been recently, you may not know that Jada Pinkett Smith is married to Will Smith, and anything she can do to get herself a little bit of clout, run her husband's name through the goddamn mud, no problem there.
This is Aisha Curry's mentor and shit.
100. Oh my God. Sorry, you. I'm speechless after that one. You sniped me with that one, Anthony. This is Aisha Curry's mentor. Just not very impressed with her husband. This eventually, Anthony, some women go so woman that surely it's even insulting to women, right?
Oh yeah. When it gets to be like, come on, bitch, get it together.
You're married, husband, yeah,
right?
You're married to Hitch. You were chosen.
And oh man.
And tonight, if you guys are wondering what we're going to be talking about, we're not going to be solely talking about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Though, by the way, I love how she just isn't Jada Smith. Oh, God. Oh, I mean, you kind of get a pass if you were an actress prior. Regardless, tonight's topic is going to be about alpha widows, guys. We realize we've never done a segment on alpha widows.
What's an alpha widow?
I'm glad that you asked, Anthony. If you've ever met a woman who just had a man, typically these guys, the profile of these men are bad boys, gangsters. Maybe they're a lot of times they'll be singers, musicians, something like that. They have this very, very alpha man. And then the man's like, I don't fucking care. And he just takes off and leaves her. Goes out for cigarettes and never comes home. Right? And he is imprinted on her. And no other man will be just as good. Anthony, Jada Pinkett Smith had a very, very imprinted relationship. Can you share with our audience who she dated that basically for the rest of her life she was not going to be impressed with anyone, not even Will Smith?
One of my favorite artists.
Oh.
And I love the guy myself growing up because I saw him as a leader. But Tupac Shakur, she was seeing him, not really dating him, right? And I think because she never really got to be with Tupac, that left her with the guy that she saw as the top of the world type of guy. She couldn't get him. But he passed, right? Before anything could happen between them. But he never chose her, right?
Right.
So he chose for her, I think he chose the game, the life, whatever he was doing instead of her. And she's never gotten over that. She this is where women feel abandoned when they get these abandonment issues, and they blame when you try to leave and go to work and be busy and go about your life, and you say that you're interested in spending some time with her, and when you got to go and do what you got to do to live your life, she says why you're not with her, why you're not spending time with her. Those abandonment issues start to come back up because you might leave her too. So before you leave her, she's going to leave you. Or she's going to manipulate you as you're doing something wrong to her when you're just living your fucking life. But I ain't going to get too deep into it, but I wanted to.
Well, I mean, it's just because tonight's topic is about alpha widows, and it's just such a good example. I mean, Jada Pinkett, prior to Will Smith, Jada Pinkett and Tupac were childhood friends.
Yeah. She was in love with him. She was,
and
when if you go online and you look at photos of him, you can tell that she was in love with him.
Jada Pinkett goes on what would have been Tupac's 50th birthday. That's June 16th of this year. She goes on. I mean, anything this bitch can do for clout, boy. She goes and reads a poem that Tupac wrote her. I'm here to tell you, man.
Look at that photo.
Oh, my God.
Look at that photo, man.
You guys can't see this, but just the admiration she has while her arms are wrapped around Tupac in this photo. And it's just this. If my fucking wife...
Right, I was about to say that.
Released a fucking photo. I'm sorry, read a poem that Tupac wrote her. And by the way, I feel.
But it's Tupac though. Like you almost.
Well, I think so little of this person. I'm wondering, like, did she write this? And this is just, hey, trying to get clout on a Wednesday. Let's see. I know the audience is dying to know what the poem says, so I'll read it to you real quick. It's handwritten, by the way, and it's called Lost Souls with a Z. And it says by T. Shakur. Some say nothing gold can last forever. And to believe this, need no proof. I have witnesses. No, I'm sorry. I have witnessed. I'm sorry, guys. This is handwritten, so bear with me. I have witnessed all that was pure in me. Be changed by the evil man. Be changed by the evil men can do. The innocence poisoned. A fucking ad pops up. Be poisoned. The innocent man can do. The innocence possessed by children. Once lived inside my soul, but surviving years with criminal peers has turned my warm heart to cold. I used to dream and fantasize. He uses use instead of used. I used to dream and fantasize, but now I'm scared to sleep, petrified not to live or die, but to awaken and still be me. It is time that nothing gold can last. We will all.
Man,
it's just
chopping
written.
This shit
I
up.
know, man. It's handwritten, guys, and the handwriting's not great. We will all one day see death. When the purest hearts are torn apart, lost souls are all that's left. Down on my knees, I beg of good. And something about fate, and then it cuts off. But yeah, it's handwritten. This bitch she feels so fucking special that she has this poem and no other bitch on planet Earth does.
Right. Because I was like, that shit need a beat.
Right.
I don't know, man. I've heard better from him and I don't even know. I just couldn't put that one together. But like you said, she had that shit forever.
And then she wanted to release it on his 50th birthday. And it's just like, Rihanna said something one time that that made me laugh, but it also rings so true. Rihanna said, if we're together and you cry because your ex died, then you're single.
Yeah. But that's different though, right? For them, right? Like women can hold men to different standards than they hold themselves. That's not the same. There's no equality, really.
As a man who knows the black community very, very, a lot of the details that you know, is she playing off the black community here with this poem?
No,
because of what Tupac means to the black community?
No, this is
because I think this is shitty to do to her husband.
This is
regardless of what color she is.
This has nothing to do with the black community at all.
Okay. Well, I want to reference the subject matter expert that we have here on this podcast because it's like
this is her still in love with Tupac, and she wishes Will Smith was Tupac.
This is also, guys, alpha widows.
She settled for Will.
Yeah, she settled for Will. Even she's the only person on planet Earth that can't see Will Smith like we see him. This is an alpha widow, guys. I'm here to tell you, we have said on this podcast, dating a single mom, a better situation will be if the gentleman has passed. Because then even people like me look at you and say, wow, you stepped in for these children. They had no father. To me, that's very noble for a man to do because you're sacrificing a lot, especially your money and your time. I don't know two things that are more important than that, do you? I mean, but if you stepped in for a man that died, that's a great thing to do for those kids first. Second, it's a great thing to do for your community as a whole. Because a lot of people that have parents that die, they end up going south pretty bad. Because they got a lot of pain from the death. Combine that with only one parent around, it's a perfect storm. However, if you're dating a single mom who's a widow and she's also an alpha widow, steer clear, guys. We are going to say this on this podcast a lot. Alpha widows are the absolute worst woman you can date. And we're going to give you tips in this podcast to look for. Are you dating an alpha widow? Now, Anthony, you and I in the pre-show, we did a lot of work on the definition of gaslighting. Are alpha widows, Anthony, are they known to be gaslighters? Let me just ask that.
Ooh, I mean, I think they
are the masters.
I think they define that shit. Like, this is exactly who they are. This is how they manipulate you into feeling like this is your fault, the way they feel. That you're not enough. That you somehow fell short.
Yeah.
And they will fucking highlight the most illogical shit.
We've talked about the reality of Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
Gaslighting, by definition, it's a verb. It's to manipulate someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity or reality. What is an example of gaslighting? Gaslighting happens when an abuser tries to control a victim by twisting their sense of reality. An example of gaslighting would be a partner doing something abusive and then denying it happened. Gaslighters may also convince their victims that they're mentally unfit or they're too sensitive. That's the big one, guys.
Yeah.
If someone does something very mean to you and you're like, hey, that's incredibly mean. Oh, Jesus. You are so sensitive. Man. What I did wasn't wrong. You're wrong for being offended by it. This is gaslighting 101.
Yeah.
Alpha widows have mastered this, guys. They have mastered this. There was a video you sent me today, Anthony, where a man had wrote a letter in to this particular YouTuber, and the woman was constantly in front of their group of friends saying that he had a small penis. And he's like, well, I'm not sensitive about it because I don't have a small penis. But she keeps repeating this. So then it's encouraging other people to repeat it. And when I tell her that it's really rude, she says that I'm being too sensitive. Gaslighting 101, isn't it? It's not that I'm saying something fucked up. It's that you're too sensitive. You know that you don't have a small penis. I know that you don't have a small penis. So what's the problem?
What if I say you have no walls? Like, I can't feel shit. Like, does that come across the same as, you're being too sensitive?
Yeah.
You know your walls aren't fucking fall apart inside.
Come on. I mean, we have Insider.com has done and don't worry, guys, we're going somewhere with this. Insider.com has done an example of the 6 top gaslighting techniques. The first one is that never happened. All of a sudden, they don't have a good memory anymore, right, Anthony?
Right. Man, I promise, man. I swear, this is putting me through PTSD.
Number 2, you're too sensitive. To me, you're too sensitive is the most
high.
used from alpha widows.
Yeah.
It says this is a phrase used by gaslighters to minimize and invalidate the victim's feelings. If the victim tries to express hurt or disappointment, the gaslighter may tell them that they're making a big deal out of nothing. The intent is to make you feel stupid for even trying to stand up for yourself. Once an abuser partner has broken down the victim's ability to trust their own perceptions, the victim is more likely to put up with the more abusive behavior and stay in the relationship. Number 3, you have a terrible memory. They want you to question your own reality.
I'm telling you, man, I've been in that twilight zone of not knowing what's going on because it's like, bitch, were you here when this happened? Like, that did not go down the way this is. How are you explaining this shit the way you explaining it?
Now, on number 4, take the word crazy and just interchange it with anything that the gaslighter's saying. Okay? Because the second part of the number 4 is the most important. Number 4 says, you're crazy. Again, interchange that with any word. You're crazy, and other people think so too. This is a very common technique. Now they're really trying. Other people have been telling me
you're mean.
They think so too.
You're an asshole.
That's out there. People are thinking it. I don't know what to tell you. And they're getting you to create this. They're trying to create this paranoia, so that you always have to come to them to know what is real and what's not.
Well, you're always defending yourself, man.
Yeah. It's like they have the reality stone from the Marvel movies. And you have to check in with them to find out what reality is. And believe me, they do not paint a good reality for you. Number 5, I'm sorry you think that I hurt you. Anthony.
Because you don't know what it feels like to be hurt yourself.
Oh, my God. While this statement might seem like an apology, it isn't. Instead, Tessina, who wrote this article, says that this is a way for an abuser to deflect responsibility and blame the victim. This kind of apology leaves the victim questioning their own judgment and wondering if they really did overreact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you, man, like I said, this is PTSD for me. And you really find yourself questioning your own thoughts.
Yeah. Well, this last sentence is going to give you incredible PTSD. It says, it can lead to the victim relying on the abuser's interpretation of events.
Yeah. Because you're like, wait, because since I totally was absent from the planet when this happened, I need you to retell that to me so I can see it from your view.
Number 6, you should have known how I was going to react.
Nah, I hate that shit. That's the most bullshit.
This is another way an abuser will deflect responsibility onto the victim. This can make the victim feel guilty or hurt about a situation where they really didn't do anything wrong. Gaslighting involves twisting facts so that they can avoid personal ownership of their behaviors. Does that sound like women to you? By telling the victim they should have known better, the gaslighter places the blame on the victim for not only speaking up, but also the abuser's response.
I remember when witnessing a woman hit someone I know, and she would do this repeatedly, and he was like, "Why did you just slap me?" And she was like, "You should have known I was going to do that if you said that." And I'm like, bitch, you can't just slap people and be like, you should have known that was going to happen. Because, bitch, when I slap you back, you should have known that was going to happen.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you can't just do shit like that. But apparently, you can do that if you're able to get away with it.
Here's a clip that Anthony was very passionate about getting into this segment. Our good friend Chris Rock. This is an old special from 2013. Fair use.
It seems like it's still relevant.
Fellas, don't argue. You cannot win. You cannot beat a woman in an argument. It's impossible. You will not win. Because men, we are handicapped when it comes to arguing. Because we have a need to make sense.
Big handicap.
That's a big handicap, isn't it? With our gaslighters. I mean, you see the men, how much they're reacting.
Women ain't gonna let a little thing like sense fuck up their argument. Because she's not in it for sense. She's in it for distance and irritation. How long can I talk before this motherfucker snaps?
So if you're in a marriage, right, and you're in a relationship with your wife and she thinks this way, like, I want distance and irritation, and I want to push him to the point to where he fucking breaks.
Yeah.
I remember being married, and I remember she was bantering me like constantly. I remember this because I was feeling kind of confused and lost and misunderstood, and I just didn't know what to do, where to go. And this was the part of my marriage where I was like, I don't know what to do next. When she Let's take a quick pause.
Sir, we took a break for, we had to get some water in here, guys. But you were talking about, Anthony, gaslighting in your marriage.
Yeah, man, I was I guess we had a disagreement, or I really don't remember what it was. I do remember being at a high emotional moment where I knew there was nothing else I could do at this point to even fix it. And there was nothing I could say, nothing I could do, nothing I could be quiet about. It just wasn't working. And she had, kind of threw divorce out there a few times already. And I was just like, is this shit even fucking worth keeping for? And like, she really, literally broke me into tears. And I just went away from her, man, and just, I can't have a conversation with you. I just left and went into the room, closed the door, and I was like, look, just leave me alone. I don't even want to even have to talk about this anymore. And that was her trying to bust into a door that I locked.
Oh my God.
Her trying to bust into a door that I locked to, like, talk to me. I was like, you couldn't show that you had no compassion seeing, like, as you was berating me. But when you see me break down, that's when now you're like, oh, now you want to fucking talk to me, and you're willing to break a door down to fucking talk to me. And it's like,
you should have known she was going to do that. Can I ask you a question, though? Do you think that your ex-wife was an alpha widow?
I think so.
Really?
I think so.
Did you ever hear any stories of a guy in her past?
Yeah. And I think the guy that she lost her virginity to.
Really?
And he was married.
Really?
Yeah.
So
took her virginity.
This was the guy who took her virginity.
Yeah.
He was unattainable.
Yeah.
And this is, guys, and when you date single mothers, watch out. That should give you a little bit of a sign. This could be an alpha widow. If it's a single mom and dad left and she's never going to get over it. And she gave him the greatest fucking thing a woman can give a man. What does Kevin Samuel say? She gave him her womb. She had a kid by this guy, so there was some reason she wanted to have a kid by him. Guys, I need you when... God damn it. Again with the gaslighting, where they distort reality. I need you to understand that women know how important it is to give a child to a man.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to try to distort your reality and say, man, baby daddy ain't shit. He ain't shit. Well, there must have been something going on. Because you had a baby by this dude, no problem.
I'm going to tell you something, man. No matter how ugly a child is, that woman believes that child is beautiful. She chose the man to make the baby that she knew she would have to hold in her body close to a year, and would have to raise that child for the rest of her life. Because
she knew she was going to be connected to this one person the rest of her life in some capacity.
And that choice, as much as they love to say, I wasn't trying to be a baby mama. I wasn't trying to be a single
because
mother.
That's the script that they all read from. That's the narrative. And we're going to talk about narratives in this podcast too.
She will not tell you her second option, her double dipping selection of taking this guy's place. She's not going to tell you that she would rather keep that guy. She would have rather that guy stayed, even if she left him.
She's never going to tell you that.
She's not going to say it because she needs you to do your, what they call step-up duties.
Somebody needs to step up. They need to keep that narrative going about men stepping up. It does not benefit me to care for, spend time with, mentor, or cash another man's child.
I'll tell you a story.
It does not benefit me.
About a friend of mine, who raised a daughter of his since she was 2 years old. He raised her till she was 27. When it came for her to get walked down the aisle, she chose her biological father, who was never around her entire fucking life. This dude paid for her to go to college, private school, fucking all these fucking activities. And when he thought he was walking his daughter, quote unquote, down the aisle, she chose a biological.
What did he do? Did he disown her?
No.
What would a child have to? So sometimes you have to play these games with yourself, guys. Sometimes I have to ask myself so that I know before I'm in the situation. What would my employer have to do for me to quit on the spot? What would they have to do? Because when it happens, now I know. I'm not in the emotions of the situation. I'm not going to be manipulated by the company.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to ask yourself, if I've spent this much time with this child, what would I have to do? What would that child have to do for me to disown them? I think if he was being unemotional and just being rational and logical, I think if she chose her biological dad to walk her down the aisle instead of me, after I spent all this time, effort, and money from my pocket, she chose him over me, I would have to disown her moving forward. But I bet he didn't, did he?
No.
Because I bet she's a gaslighter.
Well,
and she's like, well, there's a perfectly... Your reality is not the right reality, stepdad. There's a perfectly reasonable reason why I'm having my biological father. I mean, do you know the reason she gave?
I don't remember all the details exactly. I just knew when I heard the scenario, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that's... Because I know how much he talked about it. He claimed her as his own. And, which, that's what women say they want. They want the stepdad to claim that children as if it was theirs. And treat that kid as if it was theirs. That's how women say they want these other men that's not responsible for that child being in the world to act. That's how they want other men to provide for this child. So I'm sitting up here pissed off at the situation of him allowing himself to be caught up that way, because I understand that women are looking out for their children when they say they want a man to accept their kids. They're not looking out for themselves in that aspect because they know that they need help to raise that child, and they need somebody who's going to take care of that child as their own. And men have been kind of like finagled into that position of, oh, I'll take care of another man's child, and they'll even play sides when a woman wants to say, oh man, the baby daddy ain't shit. He don't want to do this. He don't want to do that. I'd rather him just stay away from my kid. And as a man coming in that situation, you can't allow a woman to say that the biological father of a child shouldn't be allowed in their kid's life. And on no level, no matter what she says, you need to see the proof of that. You need to see that he's somehow abusive, that the kid is somehow afraid of being with his biological. And at that point, if it's at that point and she got proof, guess what? There's plenty of courts that will make sure that you need either supervised visits or you can't have visitations at all. Like, the court system is in the benefit of the woman. So all she has to do is show any kind of proof. But you just listening to her sad songs, and now you want to play hero and keep the dad away because you believe this bitch because she gave you some pussy. You gotta see things from a more wider scale than that shit. You know, you're playing a part of a white knight in that moment, and you're trying to protect your pussy property that you got the opportunity to take over at this time. Like,
who paid for the wedding?
Oh, he did. 100.
This is what we call a dramatic pause. Because my jaw literally dropped. He paid for the wedding.
Yep.
And she had her biological father. Fellas, are you listening? Are you listening? This is only one example. One example of why you do not raise another man's children.
She didn't even say, I want both of them. She didn't even like include. You know what I'm saying?
I cannot believe this story.
When that man told me, you know, because he was crying, you know, and it was.
What was her explanation?
He was such a nice guy, man. That he was just saying I was happy for her, but really that dude was just hurt.
What did the alpha widow say?
Man, I don't know. I didn't even get into that. I was just amazed.
Shocked.
Yeah,
I swear to God, when I asked who paid for the wedding, audience, I did not know the answer. That's why I was shocked when you said it. He paid for. Oh my God.
He saw her as his daughter. 2 years old.
That would have been a whole lot of. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Let him pay for the wedding. You ungrateful bitch. And you're not my daughter anymore. Moving forward. One less thing for me to worry about, I guess.
Women are going to say, you're so petty, Wesley. You're going to take all those years away. Well,
I'm glad you said something that they would say. Because as soon as you said it, it sounded exactly like what one of these gaslighting bitches would say. So I looked up the definition as we were sitting here. The definition for petty. Couple of definitions. Number one, it's an adjective. Of little importance or trivial. Does that sound like anything that has a little importance?
No.
Or trivial? Number two, of secondary or lesser importance, rank or scale minor. No. Again, going back to Chris Rock here, they don't have to make a lot of sense, do they? They just have to shame you in some way. Shout out Kevin Samuels. Sign language. Well, and on this program, we've added an S. Signs language. Shame, insults, guilt, need to be right, and of course we've added shut down. Yeah, or silence. Shut down.
Yeah.
Crossing the arms, waiting for other people to come in and take up for them. Unbelievable. What other signs of what other clues? Gentlemen, trust me when we say this. Alpha widows are the absolute worst thing you can hook up with. Let's touch on this. Let's touch on the consequences before we really go into more clues on have I met an alpha widow? Am I currently dating an alpha widow? Do I currently have an alpha widow in my rotation? One of the consequences, and this is how we started off the program, it is a matter if you're fucking Will Smith himself, with all the success, resources, and money that man has, that alpha widow has been imprinted on by some other guy. She's always going to think she's settling for you guys. Yeah. She's never truly going to respect you. You and I reference this movie more than I thought we ever would. The movie Casino. It seems like we always reference this movie for some reason. Casino, and I know you're a big Robert De Niro fan. So am I. Robert De Niro marries Sharon Stone in the movie. And he is so successful. Runs the most successful casino in Las Vegas. So much money, big house, driving Cadillacs. Sharon Stone's character has been imprinted on by the dude who pimped her out.
Can't get enough of him.
Played by James Woods, who's another phenomenal actor.
Oh, yeah.
But he's just he plays this actor so well because he's just a dumb con artist kind of guy. And you're like, bitch, you could have Robert De Niro's character. Rich, successful, never worry about money the rest of your life. And this bitch will just, every once in a while, get drunk and be on the phone. I love you. I don't know why you don't want me. And it's like, this guy's a fucking con artist loser who used to pimp you out so he could get money. He suggested you sleep with other dudes and give the money to him. I mean, I don't know how to... Because sometimes when we say pimp you out, they think we're using slang to... No. Literally pimped her out to other men to get money. That's another great example of an alpha widow. And no matter how successful you are, Will Smith, Robert De Niro's character in Casino, they will always see you as less Anthony has a very special term for this. It's called the never winning story. It's such a good term, Anthony. That's some foreshadowing for a podcast we're going to be doing in the future called the never winning story. It doesn't matter if you're Will Smith himself. You will Will Smith is such a great example because I don't think any of us could really ever aspire to be that successful. And you see, even he can get with an alpha widow who doesn't give a fuck about his success. Not for one moment. Women, I'm sure, throw themselves at Will Smith.
Man, I can already hear. You know how you can hear the voices of women when you say something, right?
Yeah, because we see this like Neo sees the Matrix, right? We see it as a bunch of ones and zeros going up and down. What are you hearing right now from the Matrix, Anthony?
I'm hearing in the atmosphere. His success isn't love. He can't win her over with love based on just because he's successful.
I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this because this show is always going to be a friend to the LGBT community. We are, because that's just, I mean, genuinely, that's just how we roll out. We're not saying this to repeat a narrative, right, Anthony? I mean, we genuinely are friends to the LGBT community. I will tell you, the children of Jada and Will Smith, I kind of think it reflects of like when you're very, very privileged, how much you can ponder and become weird. That's all I'm going to say. Not a lot of people. I had this discussion with some cohorts of mine recently, and I was like, "Isn't it amazing the statistics on people that are confused about their gender?" And I'm giving real data, guys. This isn't an opinion, guys. Real data is in third world countries. There's not a lot of people there questioning their gender. There's just not. Take from that what you may. But Will Smith's kids in the most privileged situation, they come across weird at best. Take from that what you will. I will tell you that Will Smith's children resemble children that don't have a strong masculine father in the household. And I don't mean that to be insulting to Will Smith. But his decision to marry this woman is starting to have real consequences for him.
Well, I think when you like again, man, if you had that much success, I don't think you'll be playing second fiddle in your home.
Well, this looks like one of the outlier examples. I will tell you, everything Will Smith says about relationships sounds very good. It's things that I all agree with. I'm in a relationship. I'm married. One of the things that we were watching a video, he says it's not a husband's duty to make his wife happy. Oh.
Facts.
You could hear in the Matrix. Whoa. Did he really say that? And then he softens it and says, and it's not a wife's job to make a husband happy. And you kind of just feel the Matrix go, oh, okay. Oh, as long as we don't have to do shit.
Well,
I'm cool with that.
Right, because he heard the voices too. Man, I was doing I was having a conversation, and before I could even have the conversation, my whole conversations were footnotes. I had to lay down so many footnotes before I could even have the conversation. Because I'm like, okay, I got to cover all the bases. It's going to sound like I'm talking about all women, but it's not. I'm not talking about all women. It may sound like I'm talking about you specifically, but I'm not. It may be a coincidence that you fit into this category, but I have no idea what fits into your life right now. I'm only talking. You're only listening. Okay? Like I'm doing all these caveats just to
avoid this reaction.
Right. And the thing is, Wesley, I don't give a fuck, right? But then there's a part of me that does, where I'm like, I don't want to be misconceived that I'm coming across as uncaring, and I'm just, my only goal is to talk bad about a specific gender, a type of woman, or a group of people. Like, I'm not targeting anyone. All I was discussing was bad behavior from humans, right? It just so happened these humans have pussies. So I just, it wasn't like I was I wasn't targeting him. It's just that it just so happened to be.
I mean, Anthony, oh my God, the crowd really reacted on that one. Uh-oh.
It just so happened that specific gender tend to do those specific things. And I know why. I understand why. But they want different outcomes. And the only way they can get off different outcomes is if they change. But they want the outcomes to come without changing. And that's just impossible.
Hold on a second. Are you saying that women need to change?
Yes. If they want if they want change, they're going to have to. Yeah.
I don't know if the audience liked that one, Anthony. I don't know if the audience liked that one. But I will tell you guys, there's real consequences to dating these alpha widows, and it's the worst kind of consequences. You want to talk about your reality being changed. I mean, Will Smith would be so much happier. Now, I'm not dogging on Will Smith. I do appreciate that marriage is important to him. If marriage isn't forever, then what the fuck is marriage?
Yeah,
they haven't changed these wedding bells, have they?
Yeah, I liked his quote about, divorce isn't an option. Like, we're gonna figure it out somehow, whatever it is.
But I do wonder if Will Smith needs to ask himself the question: what would this bitch have to do for me to divorce her? Now, Anthony, you have new information that Jada Pinkett, many of us know. If you guys don't know, she recently slept with, and just look up Jada Pinkett Smith entanglement. She slept with an artist that was a friend of Will Smith's.
Friend of the kids.
Friend of the kids, exactly. And had an affair, right? Well, we realized that she also she was with Tupac. We also now have figured out she was with one of the members of Criss Cross when he was only 15 years old. These are just one of the famous quotes that I heard, and I believe it was in the movie Crimson Tide. And they said there was a quote similar, and I'm just paraphrasing here. They said, I mean, we found a Russian sub in the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, what's the big deal? It's one Russian sub, right? And it's like, no, the big deal is we found one.
Right.
We don't know how many are there.
Yeah.
If we found one, there's probably 7, right? And Gulf of Mexico is a big place.
Right.
It's bigger than the state of Texas, and Texas is a big place. So when you hear about these stories, it could just be 2 or 3 dudes. But we've heard about 2. And I'm sorry, let me be honest. Tupac and Criss Cross, that was not while she was married to Will Smith. But we're hearing about this affair recently. And it's one of those things where it's like, we've heard about 1. This chick just sounds like a hoe to me. It doesn't sound like it's possible for her to be monogamous. And I believe we can put this on, Anthony, to alpha widows, couldn't we? I mean, isn't it impossible for alpha widows to be monogamous because they kind of settled for you, and they're gonna distort your reality, like settled for you, because you ain't shit, Will Smith. You ain't shit, Robert De Niro's character from Casino, because you just ain't shit, and you just don't realize you're not shit. That's the kind of gaslighting that they'll do to you. Will Smith probably walks around in the world right now going, damn, what do I have to do to get Jada to want me? I mean,
well, I want to define ain't shit as women will say you're not enough, right? And that was the feeling I was having. Like I wasn't enough. Like it wasn't anything that I could do that mattered to be enough for this woman. And I don't think I could have done anything to be more successful personally. It just wasn't enough to her because I wasn't him, right? And
yeah, I mean, we have this in the notes. Speaking hashtag never winning story. We have this in the notes, and you brought this up. They got to come up to my level, says the alpha widow, right?
Yeah.
Because she has a lot. This is very similar to narcissism, by the way. She has such a high sense of self because she was with this one great alpha. This one great alpha chose to sleep with me. This one great, and of course, women do not differentiate. Do not differentiate a man wanting to sleep with them as a man wants me in a relationship. This would be like, listen. This would be like if you ordered an Uber driver and you get in the car, you're just driving, they're doing the normal Uber driver talk. Oh, hey, what you doing in town? Blah, 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 blah. Really? You should go check out a Seahawks game while you're in town or something, Then you get to the end of the Uber ride, you get out and they're like, okay, cool. So you want to buy the car, right? Wait, what? No, I just wanted a ride. I mean, you asked for a ride. You must like the car. No, Uber driver. I just needed a ride to downtown Seattle. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ. Why would you ask to ride in a car if you didn't want to buy it? This is what women sound like when they're like, dudes want to sleep with me. Therefore, relationship.
I'm like, damn, Uber driver, chill, bro.
Yeah, chill out. They got to come up to their level, and they just touched an alpha for a moment. They just stood in his aura for a limited amount of time, and now nothing else is going to be good enough, right? Nothing.
Well, because they weren't able to secure his commitment.
It's almost like if you've seen that movie Gatsby, The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Where he's reaching out to that light in the distance.
Yeah.
That's what the alpha widow's doing. That light is just right across the water.
It seems so close.
And they just reach out like if they reach out, their arm could extend and grab it. And then some dime piece walks up to Gatsby from behind, taps him on the shoulder, and be like, hey, man, love to fuck, love to be your wife. Like, no, I'm going to reach out to this light. This is what an alpha widow is, right? It's like, no, that green light, they got to come up to my level. I got dudes in my DM. These are all clues that you're dealing with an alpha widow. I got dudes in my DMs, Anthony. Then why aren't you married?
Nobody seems to want to commit to you. I like when
if dudes
somebody said you're shopping out of your price range. And I was like, that is exactly right.
If you're not a woman that's married and you're talking about dudes in my DMs, that's like owning a store and people come in to shop and they leave without buying anything, and eventually the bank is like, hey, we got to foreclose. This business is not making any money. I have so many people walking in. Yeah, but they have to buy for you to have a successful... Man, shut up, dude. I got so many people walking in here. Every day people walk in and just walk out without buying something. Y'all don't know shit. You ain't shit. Y'all don't know shit. It's what women sound like, right?
I recently saw Kevin Samuels on the IG Live talking about if the customers, if you sell pizzas and the customers say, hey, this pizza isn't good. Like, they'll buy your pizza a little bit, and then they stop buying your pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, hey, why y'all stop buying my pizza? And it's like, hey, it's the sauce is, it's watery. The bread is doughy.
Man, they don't know what's good.
Exactly. And that's what happens. Like, nah, this is good pizza. I've been told my pizza is the best pizza, and y'all don't know what y'all talking about. But you're asking the people who are buying your product why they're not buying it anymore.
But why take our word for it? Let's listen to our friend Chris Rock hit on this again.
Chris Rock dropping dimes.
Yo, ladies, if you got a good husband, a good man, hold on tight. Another woman will take your husband. They'll take him. There's women in here right now with stolen husbands. You know.
How awkward was that during the live show? There's women in here with stolen husbands. And it's like, that was such an uncomfortable laugh, wasn't it?
Mm.
But let's let Chris go here.
You know who you are. You're like, that bitch was slipping. That's right, hold tight, or another woman will take your man. Fellas, you don't gotta really worry about that. Nobody's taking your wife. Oh, don't get me wrong. They'll fuck your wife.
Facts.
Oh, they'll fuck her good. They'll fuck her better than you. But they're not gonna take her. There's no guy going, yeah, I want her to yell at me the way she yells at him. I want to live in a house with no pictures of my mother. Or they'll fuck her, and then they'll return her. I believe this is yours.
So many.
Bitch had me feeling bad about myself.
Man, he dropped so many subtle clues in there, man. Like all women are a competition. Like, she don't want no female competition in the house. Or, like, even your own fucking mother. A picture of your own fucking mother, right?
I mean, the other part of it is, too, he points out that what we're saying, just because a man wants to fuck you doesn't mean he wants to keep you.
Oh, man. And the thing is,
that's like that Uber driver being out here, man, I'm gonna sell my car. You don't even understand. So many people want to ride in my car.
Well, when you said that, I was like, man, that's so true, because how many times even married women get hit on and and they're like,
still got it.
Yeah. And then they're looking at their husband like, you just don't understand. I can get all these men. Well, they just want to fuck you. They don't want to keep you, bitch. Like, do they want to have to deal with what I deal with? And that was one of the things I was trying to point out to my ex. I said, you're talking to people that don't live in the four walls I live in.
100.
They don't have to experience you for hours on end and sleep in the same room as you and wake up with the attitudes that exist for no reason.
Ladies, also, a lot of these dudes know they don't want you while they're hitting on you. But I do want to fuck her.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know when ladies are going to figure that out. This is what men used to teach their daughters. But now that we've erased men from the house,
no clue.
Women don't know. Just because they want to fuck me, it doesn't mean I have a future. This used to be, I mean, in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, this was just knowledge back then. I mean, we just know. You've heard a woman say this, yes or no? I think he only wants me for sex. You guys have all heard that, right? Because it's a knowledge from the past that we've lost. He only wants to fuck you and doesn't want to be in a relationship. We have to learn early, whether it be high school dating or whatever. This is something women are supposed to avoid, right?
Well, Wesley, when you back in the day, you would go home, you would go to your girl's house, and guess who you would have to fucking meet?
The dad.
But now you're meeting a mom who want to fuck the kid, the daughter's fucking boyfriend now.
And this isn't speculative. We're talking about Jada Pinkett Smith again.
So, like, what What can a girl learn from being raised by a single mom to go out and how to select a man, because her mom don't even have one, and if she does have one, he's a secondary option. So she's not using him out of desire, she's using him out of need, because she needs him to provide for her and her child. So what is the daughter learning? That men are just tools to use.
Yes. I mean, Anthony, wow. That was a fucking truth bomb.
Whether
they're learning from a very early age.
Yeah.
That men are just a utility. That they're a dime a dozen. They're commodities. None of them are more special than the other. So all it boils down to is how much money can you get out of this fucking... I mean, and they're learning that from an early age.
You're a fucking wallet.
And then we just unleash another one of these.
There's no true desire coming from a woman that say that she wants a man. A woman don't know what... These women today don't know what love is. They say all these pretty words. Mm-hmm. They say all this sound good shit. They're fucking loyal members at the Church of Sound Good. Because they'll get on TikTok all day, IG all day, and talk about all they want from a man is to do ABC. They just want love. They just want, a man to just be a traditional man and take care of and protect and provide. All these words
that mean nothing.
Because, excuse me, as a man myself, and what do men do when men hear women say, "Oh, all I want is," men try to get in line with that shit. They say, "Well, you know what? If I want a wife and I want a good girl, if I want a beautiful woman, I probably need to be successful. I probably need to have enough money to be able to provide and at least get a house." For us to have kids and be able to live comfortably, be able to go on vacation at least once a year, and and all along this man this man can't say he wants something back from her, because as soon as the man says, "Well, what are you gonna give me back in return?" That's fucking rude.
Yeah, I watched that video.
Right?
You sent me a video where there was a gentleman on a panel, and he says, "Well, you want all this from a man. What do you bring to the table?" Well,
yeah, the stutters,
as Kevin Samuel calls it, the beatboxing starts. She said that he was rude. They literally think they don't have to bring anything to the table but beauty,
pussy,
pussy and beauty.
Yeah, that's it.
There are women that just literally think pussy, beauty, and I should be able to be married to Tupac Shakur. I said it.
What's the how much money is in the beauty industry?
So much.
And
then women act like they don't want to be beautiful. We live in the only time. I used to make fun because grunge was a big music movement when I was young, and I used to make fun that I was like, man, I love Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and all those dudes, but I hate that they had women dressing all grungy all through my my high school days. What the hell, man? And it would be like a joke because women were still doing their hair nice. I mean, they might wear long john pants with like jean shorts and a flannel tied in the front or something. That is not even compared to what women are doing these days. We were talking about this before the podcast. It's just become fashion for women to shave their heads. Ladies, good luck to you. Here's the thing. Y'all are going so far out there. You're only causing this red pill movement. Ladies, if you're looking for the catalyst of the red pill movement, and I'm looking at you too, Alpha Widows, if you're wondering what the catalyst is for the red pill movement, Get up from your couch, walk to the bathroom, and look right in the mirror. Y'all are going so far off page that men are finally saying, enough. That was another dramatic pause.
Yeah. Shit. Enough, and I don't want. And I remember when I was growing up, Wesley, I don't know if you remember this, but we were more attracted to the women with the longer hair.
Mm-hmm.
And women knew this, and what did they start doing? Putting extensions in their hair.
Yep. Getting
weave and putting this shit in their hair. Now the bitch is just shaving it all off.
Yep.
It went from a short bob, then it went to shaving, getting a little shave in the back a little bit on the neck. Now it went to a tight fade. Now it's just bald.
Is there a Steven Spielberg character that you were comparing Jada Pinkett Smith's new shaved head look
that
to?
Bitch looked like E.T., bro. I was like, this bitch looks weird. I remember, man, I knew Jada Pinkett was weird. Even when, like, every movie that people remember Jada Pinkett in is Jason's Lyrics. And why?
Good movie, by the way.
And why do we remember Jada Pinkett in Jason's Lyrics?
Because she was hot?
Well, she was having like hot naked sex in Jason's Lyrics. Like, Jason's Lyrics is where people was like, "Oh my god, you can do that!" Like,
yeah.
And she and what was the big deal about Jason's Lyrics? Because that was like that was the closest to X-rated I've seen in a movie. In Jason's Lyrics, because, and guess what? She had sex with him for real when she didn't have to for that scene. And she was like, well...
And so stop your emails about me calling her a hoe. Stop.
And they was like, did you had sex with? And she was like, well, we're friends. And I'm like, bitch, what? What? It's like, yeah, we're friends. I didn't see anything wrong with we're friends. I'm like, wow.
Now, I'll be honest. Part of me is like, you sold out for the role. Part of me is like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Part of me. So, guys, I don't want you. Listen, not everything's black and white, everybody. I can completely, like, not like a person, but hey, I respect that you did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
We have this plan here as we're going. The Jason's Lyric. I mean, that, you're right. This is straight up
porn.
This is straight up porn. I forgot about this. I mean, this is just straight up porn, dude. But God, she was hot back then, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm going to keep it 100 with everybody here. I mean, Jada Pinkett was... Now, let me tell you, my favorite era of hers, where I thought she was the hottest, was The Matrix Reloaded.
Okay.
I thought she was fucking gorgeous. I point this out, guys, because I want y'all to know at one time in my life I was a fan of hers. And when it comes to her acting, I don't really have anything bad to say. I'm going to be honest. And listen, because of how much I dislike her as a person and as a wife to Will Smith, I would tell you if I didn't like her acting. I would. I thought she was amazing in The Matrix. I thought she was great in Jason's Lyric. What is the other big movie she was in?
Set It Off.
I like that movie. I mean, I was younger when I watched it. This is before women really got out of control. You know, I'm okay with the bank robbery. You know what I mean? I always like heist movies anyway. I liked it. And just things weren't like they are now. You know, where we just have a narrative where women can't be questioned at all.
Well, I want to say something about a woman's history being able...
talk about foreshadowing.
Yeah.
We're going to do a podcast on this, too.
Her history kind of lets you know, give you some insight on how open she would be to certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you as a man can't just ignore her history and be like, well, that's what she did before me. Well,
listen, this is so important. Like I said, we're going to do a whole segment over this, but Anthony, break this down because this is such a good take on your part.
You got to be able to understand as a man that, you know, a lot of times women have the same relationships over and over again because they're choosing that same type of guy. Mm-hmm. But they'll blame the guy for being who he is, even though that man can't be with her unless she's allowed it.
Let me throw some cold water on the audience. I had a job interview today. I had a job interview for a company that I really, really want to work for. And they asked me a lot about my past.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing they can do to judge me. Listen up, alpha widows. Okay? They're going through my resume. They're asking me questions. They notice on my resume, hey, you've never worked on a lot of teams in your roles. We worry about that. I did not have the option in the interview to blame that on someone else. I didn't have the option to say, that's rude. When you're in a job interview, in a capitalist society like we are here in the United States, when you're in a job interview, they ask you about your past to determine what the fuck you're going to do in the future. They asked me specifically a time in my life that I really messed up. And he kind of prefaced it with like, a lot of times when we ask people this question, they talk about a time they messed up and they talk about how they fixed it. And so that they can promote themselves in the interview.
Right.
We're not looking for that. Everything doesn't go right in business. I want to hear about a time it didn't go right. And there wasn't a happy ending, was the question.
Damn.
Yeah. Because he's right.
Yeah.
And if you're an alpha widow,
you've been coached to give the canned... Yeah.
Hey, what do you think your biggest weakness is?
Right.
You know what my biggest weakness is?
Is my strength.
I always show up on time. God, I'm too punctual.
Right.
We all know that bullshit, right?
Right.
But he asked it so deliberately. And I think it was an important question because what I told him was it was a time things didn't go right. And I told him, I said, I made a promise to a customer that I shouldn't have. And I couldn't deliver on it. And we almost lost the account, and I got taken off the account. And I was like, and there's no happy ending to it. But I always remembered after that, I don't make promises until you know you can make a promise. And that's what these alpha widows are lacking. They're lacking learning from their past. Let me ask you a question, Anthony. Do alpha widows have son husbands?
Yes.
I wrote that down earlier. We had to get that into this. Guys, we're trying to give you some tips and tricks to spot these alpha widows quickly so you don't end up in a Will Smith situation.
Well, why do they have a son husband? Because they're trying to recreate that man.
Oh, my God. That's a big light bulb moment for me. I did not expect you to say that. They're trying to recreate the other dude. If you guys are not familiar with... Anthony, would you explain to our audience what son husbands are?
This is because they have no man in their life that's going to be consistent. They use their son as a replacement. So they will nurture that son as if it was their man. They're going to
take up all the son's time.
Yep.
Require validation from the son.
My goodness.
Cry in front of the son so the son comforts her like a husband normally should do.
Call me, text me, let me know where you at. All the bullshit that they will put through with a man, but they get to manipulate their son. The son is like, oh, this is what I have to do. This is my mom. But she's trying to get validation from her son from what she was missing and what she what she wish she can have, and the fantasy just lives on.
I hope my aunt never hears this, Anthony.
Why is that?
Because what I'm about to say. Okay. I hope my aunt never hears this because my aunt is guilty of this. Her two sons still live with her. and both of them are over the age of 30.
What the?
And her first husband, she never married again because she had these men to fill that emotional void of what a husband should be.
There's
I don't
no
know. I don't
room.
know what she would do if they ever moved out.
Have you ever seen a
She'd
kid?
have to have a man, right?
Well, do you ever seen that? You ever been with a girl or dated a girl and the son was so fucking overprotective?
Yeah, like a husband should be, right?
Right. And you're just like, that's my. I was that at until I was like, you know what? This not my role. She's not respecting what I'm telling her, and I'm like, I won't do it again. I won't. If she wants to be with whoever, she can be with whoever. And I grew out of it on my own.
Because you had a single mother.
Yeah. But my mom, and I'll keep her out of this, but women.
Wow, even you had to censor yourself on that, right?
Yeah. I'll keep her out of this one. But
Self-censorship is the most effective form of censorship, Anthony. I don't know. I think you should hold her accountable. None of us are perfect. But women will say, "Well, I'm not perfect," but then when you tell them how they're not perfect, they don't like it, do they?
Well, what I was going to say is that she never had a man in her life,
and it's not natural. Because it's not natural.
Still don't.
And by the way, it's not natural. And the way she compensated is because she had you in her life. Now, we're not saying anything weird here, guys, like incest or sex or anything. I mean, we're not saying that. That's what
it's emotional.
A son husband fills that void with where the emotion and support come in.
Yeah,
and they depend on it.
Because when I was growing up, I would grocery shop for the house.
Oh wow!
I worked.
You really were doing the.
I was working since I was 13, bro.
Wow.
And it was just one of those things, man. And
you were working from an age where you didn't really understand the concept of money.
No.
I have a 12-year-old godson. He does not really understand the concept of money. I'm telling you, he really doesn't. Like, once you were working at 13, I'm sure you understood the concept of money real quick.
Right, because I was putting my body through some shit. Working those summer jobs, and I still got a scar on my finger from, that scar right there. I cut my finger open because we was doing demolition. We were demolition. How you say
Demolition.
We were doing demolition, and we was breaking down tile walls with sledgehammers, and that was my summer job. And
wow,
tiling roofs and pulling.
It seems like every teenager in Texas, sidebar, started their first job was roofing.
Yeah, that's some hard shit. That's some.
I don't know if there is. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys have never been to Texas and you're listening, I think the hottest place in the whole universe, other than the surface of the sun, is a roof in Texas in the summer. And I don't know why everybody wants their house re-roofed in the motherfucking summer in Texas. Man. But yeah, I mean, if you got a son husband going out and roofing, that makes life a lot easier. Anthony, I know another question for you. Do alpha widows, do they have an inflated sense of self? Oh, man. Do we have an example of this, Anthony? Anthony points out, Anthony, we talk about dating profiles on this show a lot.
Yeah.
Right? You point out that when a woman just fills her whole dating profile with what she doesn't want, what is that a signal of, Anthony?
It's exactly what she has allowed.
It's what she went through with the alpha that she has been widowed by.
Yeah.
If you see this, guys, this is probably an alpha widow.
I know a lot of guys ignore this, and they want. Oh, I'm not those things. I can show you.
I never thought of that angle. Usually, when I saw these profiles, I would be like, she's an angry person. Let's move on.
Right.
That's a swipe left for me. Well, this person just seems angry.
Well, come on, man. You know the guys that always want to prove that they're the guy that she's been missing, right?
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Don't you fucking dare.
There's a lot of red flags on dating profiles, and I've been dating on dating profiles for years, man. I want to say since Black Planet. And if you don't know
that's
about
a blast from the past,
right? If you don't know about Black Planet, that's how long I've been doing dating profiles, bro. That's how long I've been dating on dating apps, man. And so I'll say I'm somewhat of an expert on these things.
Audience, Anthony's being humble right now. Anthony is an expert on these things. Do you mind sharing this dating profile with us? Because this is an obvious sign.
Man, let me pull it up.
An obvious sign.
I sent it to you because I was like, man, this
of an alpha widow. Guys, here, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be the easiest clue. And when you see this from now on, you'll, alpha widow, moving on. Go ahead, Anthony.
So I got to tell you, there's a lot wrong with this one. This is almost too easy of one to, as
Sometimes
an example.
An extreme example helps us understand the example, though. I mean.
I guarantee you she don't think there's anything wrong with this. But,
100, because she posted it in public for everybody to see.
I'll just say this is a black woman. She's 36 years old. Her name begins with T.
Danger zone!
Man, she's looking for something. She's looking for something casual, some friendship, and possible long-term shit.
Sounds good so far.
And locally here in the city.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She says, and I'm just gonna say a lot of these words are capitalized.
I'm sorry, because he's right. It's a lot of capitalized words, and I didn't really pick up on that the first time that I read this. Yeah,
I want men to understand this. When you see all caps, she's a yeller. She raises her voice a lot.
Why do you say that, Anthony?
Well, come on, man.
You think so, huh?
Yeah. She's definitely a yeller. She's gonna disrespect you. Just understand that. She's gonna yell at you. If she writes in capitals, God damn it, you think she ain't gonna yell? Come on.
That's a good little tip for our audience, isn't it?
So, already a red flag, but this thing was so fucked up. I was like, I gotta screenshot this and I gotta share it. But here we go. I'll stop giving you guys blue balls.
Good take.
I'm single and grown. All right, bitch, you on the date now, and we can see your age. I would hope that you understand that these two truths are self-evident, and that the man that you will want to be with will understand that your ass is on a dating app and you single and you grown.
Wait, Anthony, I'm sorry. For the benefit of our audience who has not read this, please read this straight through, because there's just so... I just feel like it's funnier when you read straight through, because that's what I did the first time. I was like, wow, this is a lot.
Okay, so I'm not going to yell all this because it's all caps, okay, guys? Please, if you look to be dry as fuck, don't know how to talk to a lady, get gone, please. If you looking for ass, and she puts in parentheses, smash, looking for pussy, buying pussy, or selling dick, all in parentheses, please get the fuck gone and don't speak to me. Then she use all these emojis. I don't know what the fuck they mean. It's like a okay sign, a no sign, a wave sign, and a FU sign, like a finger. I'm like, that's a lot of fucking emojis.
This is what this woman thinks looks attractive to suitors.
I don't understand how any... That's crazy. All right, let's go, because there's more.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
She parenthesizes this again with all the disrespect. And she does a concerned look emoji with a 100. She says, "I'm not available to chat all day." So she re-emphasizes that she's an adult again. Here she goes. "I'm an adult with responsibilities that I handle one deep. So I don't have time to be holding no phone 25/8. Text, looking at chats, etc. I guess this is a sign with a goat and a crown. I don't know what that means. And will not be treated as anything less." I guess the crown's supposed to be a queen. I'm a queen. I'm a goat and a queen. Okay, that's a weird fucking combination. Queen, goat, in the house. Okay. I'm a goat and a queen and will not be treated as anything less. What's lesser than a goat? I don't know. I reciprocate the same energy I require. Whoo, man.
That's a lot, isn't it?
That took energy from me, bruh.
That's an inflated sense of self, isn't it?
Man.
Please show me a picture of this bitch. Please, God.
That's the best part.
Anybody that's this amazing must be a dime piece.
That's the best part.
Oh, my effing God. You tattooed up big bitch.
Oh, my
Good
God.
fucking... oh, my God.
That was the best
I know
part.
my worth.
That was the best part. The picture was the best part for me because just like you just said, I was like, this bitch gotta be fucking immaculate. And that was the photo. That was the only photo that I showed you that didn't have a filter.
Wow.
Everything else was a filter. Here's the other one with a filter.
Oh, Jesus.
Do that look like the same bitch to you?
No, God, no. No, God, no. You know, that's what she's saying today.
Oh,
that's
man.
what she's saying today. All these rules and restrictions. I saw her picture, and let me tell you, in 5 years...
Ain't no rules and restrictions.
Yeah, in 5 years, this is going to be what her dating profile says. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a technical problem. In 5 years, this is going to be what her dating profile says.
What is a big head?
Wait, you had so many standards before. How come your dating profile now says...
What is a big head?
Wait, listen. I mean, no. If you're just looking to buy pussy or sell dick, get out of here. 5 years later.
What is a big head?
Remember me?
Shout out to Kevin Samuels on that one, man. When he plays that soundbite, hey, big head. I will tell you, it's one of the funniest fucking things. I swear to God, it gets me every time. It gets me every time on Kevin Samuels' show when he does that. Inflated sense of self. Anthony, we had an analogy when we were doing the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about convenience stores and grocery stores. Now, the pricing in convenience stores, you might pay double for a loaf of bread there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just convenient. You get in and out. Alpha widows don't realize they are a convenience store to a lot of high quality men. A lot of high value men. They're a convenience store. But I guess they stock all these items in their convenience store because they think this is going to be his grocery store one day.
Yeah.
And in this analogy...
But the thing is, think what you just said. All she got is convenience store shit.
Yeah. The good call.
But she said it's going to be his grocery store one day. No, bitch, you ain't enough.
No.
That ain't enough.
Grocery stores are what men marry. Convenience
Right.
stores is what men fuck.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Say it again for the people in the back.
I mean, I can't get these alpha widows to understand that dude never wanted to get groceries from you. You were just convenient to him at the time, and now you are pining for Tupac. And you're married to Will Smith. And I tell you what, women looking at Jada Pinkett Smith right now, there must be a silent majority of women that are like, bitch, get the fuck out of here.
Man, just like
You're
Aisha
married to
Curry.
Will Smith. She thinks she's an equal to Will Smith.
Oh yeah. 100.
While I'm not going to go through it again, guys. We spent the whole part of the first part of this program doing it. She is not equal to Will Smith. Anthony, are you equal to Shaquille O'Neal when it comes to basketball?
No.
But what's the problem? I mean, aren't all people were made by God, right? All people are equal in the eyes of God. No. Some people are better at shit. And Will Smith is way better at celebrity than Jada Pinkett.
I can shoot better free throws than Shaq, but
yeah, I mean, both of us could. I bet our percentage is way higher. But Jada Pinkett is not as good at celebritying as Will Smith is. She does not make anywhere near the level of money. She goes and talks about her personal life openly in public to get clout and clicks. It's insane. It's sad. It's shameful.
do you think that her show, the Red Table Talk, whatever that is, that she's doing that because she wants to get more people to come to that show? Do you think that's part of the marketing, or you think this is just who she is?
100. I don't think she has the ability to hide who she is. I think this bitch is so far gone that she doesn't give a fuck about. She's trying to normalize having affairs.
Yeah,
Anthony. She's just trying to normalize it.
Well, I think Will has accepted this.
He is also assisting her, which he should not be doing.
Right. Well, think about this, though. Think about this. A lot of times, man, when you have not been able to be under leadership to follow, right? A lot of good leaders come from being able to follow other good leaders. And
the military, right?
Right. But when you're talking about a household, so when that missing leadership is there, now you got to figure shit out on your own. And now you've committed to something that you're like not ready for. So you just got to figure this shit out on your own, on the fly. Like Kevin Samuels like to say, we're going to build this plane while we're flying it, right?
Right.
So he's in the middle of this marriage and he got kids, and he knows his wealth, and he knows anytime anything separating those two, he's going to lose at least half his shit, right? He's going to lose her anyway, and his fucking...
Let me correct this, because this is a famous statement by Phil Hartman. He said, why don't you just cut off half of all your... He was talking to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan suggested to Phil Hartman, hey, why don't you just give her half your shit and just be done with this damn bitch? You're a celebrity. And Phil Hartman's wife, by the way, just so you know, Anthony, was an aspiring actress that just wasn't making it. Mm-hmm. And she hated the fact that her husband was more successful than her. Does this sound like Jada Pinkett and Will Smith? It sort of resembles this, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
well all I'm going to say is, Phil Hartman told Joe Rogan, he said, hey, it's not like I'm giving up half. It's like I give up 2/3. I only get to keep a third, because a third goes to me, a third goes to her, and then a third goes to the lawyers.
True.
And that's apparently that's the reality out there. When you're super rich, shout out Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems. It becomes very, very complex. And by the way, I don't know any divorce that would be more complex than that divorce.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
How many years that she's hung around?
Yeah. And I'm sure in her own
and
mind,
California,
she's made just as much money as Will has, right?
No.
Well, she's the person making those terrible pizzas. That's like, wow, you don't want my pizza. You just don't know what good pizza is.
Right.
Now, that's the only reason I'm not as successful as Will, because people don't know how good I am, and they just gobble up Will Smith's bullshit rap albums and bullshit movies. And
who was there with Will when Will did all those movies? I was there to support and raise the kids.
And I had his kids, and oh yeah, I mean, I don't know any divorce that would ever rival this one.
I'm gonna tell you, man, when women are divorcing you, they gonna give a fuck about you, bro.
And I'm here to tell you, I've heard this statement from many people. You don't know who you really married until you go through a divorce. Yeah.
Yep, facts all damn day.
Some people will say you don't know how who you're marrying until you like move in together. Blah blah blah.
Nah,
I was given sage advice one time from a friend's wife, and she says, "Don't marry somebody. Don't marry someone that you just are infatuated with and in love with. Marry someone that you know you could have a sane divorce with." And this is a person that never been well, I'm sorry, they did go through a divorce, but it wasn't a long, crazy one. She's like, you need to know that, like, during a divorce, that's the most evil side of them. You need to marry someone with not a lot of evil. And I think it's like sage advice. I will tell you, I feel bad for Will Smith, but I will also tell you this, guys. This is what this podcast right now is about. Will Smith built his own prison. He let this woman in his life. Now they have children together. Now the whole situation's messy. Oh, I can see it in the Matrix right now. Will Smith has had affairs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has. However, it's really weird. Men have such a physical desire for sex. And Anthony, agree or disagree with me on this. When men have sex, it's a physical need, and we can have sex with a woman and still be totally in love with another.
Yeah.
Women do not have that ability. They have to be emotionally involved with a man to want to have sex with him. Either if they're a narcissist, they want to have sex with him so they can kind of feel some of his clout. There's emotional stuff involved, guys, and this is what I'm warning you guys against alpha widows. Women that have sex and cheat, there's not a high percentage of them, by the way. These women that just cheat, no problem. Sex is nothing to them. That's a high body count. That's a small percentage of women. What would you say, Anthony, women that are just going to cheat, no matter how committed they are to a man, what would you say the percentage of that is? I would say it's very low. We don't have facts, figures, and statistics on this.
Say it again, no matter what?
Yeah. No, even if they're with the alpha that they've been imprinted on and they love, and they still cheat. Like, what percentage of the fucking woman population would you say that is? I mean, I would say it's very tiny. I would say it's below double figures.
Really?
Yeah, I've just met these certain women that are just, man, they're just boy crazy, and they just can't help it, and they just, you almost look at them like they're kind of sex addicts or something. I don't know what it is.
I think those women were less around when we were up, but right now, I think those women had children, and
so you're saying it's an increasing population.
I think that part of women is increasing because they don't see themselves as women anymore. They see themselves being equal to men, so they can do the same thing. Yeah. So it's more women with that mindset.
Even if they don't want to have sex, they feel the need to have some kind of egalitarian bullshit.
To prove that they can move about like men, they do manly things and call it liberation. But in the end, they're not happy.
Well, you've mentioned this word many times on this episode tonight. Outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. Those women that are like, you watch them, like, every time they go to a new job, they get some kind of crush. Kevin in sales. Shut up, Donovan Sharp. It's just like, they're just so boy crazy. They really just can't help. I've had a friend like this, by the way. It was a female. And it's just like, God, you just can't be fucking faithful. But I'll tell you, most women, it's a high majority. As long as you are just in a relationship with them, they're typically not going to do this. A lot of this will but alpha widows are not like this. Well, just heads up. I mean, that's what this episode's about. Alpha widows are very promiscuous bitches, and that's another consequence of this type of woman.
I want to point out, in the same vein about, because we're on this topic, and I want to point this out. The women who are not in so-called relationships are dating, right? And they are dating men and having sex. And I'll talk to so many women and tell me, oh, I've been single for 5 years. Been single for 4 years, 3 years, whatever the amount of time was. And when I asked them about, well, when was the last time you had sex? It's the him and Han and this and that time. But I don't ask it directly, right? I'm like, damn, that's a long time without sex, girl. Like, what you been doing? I'm like, I want to see that toy collection you got at the house, like, right? I want to, and I was like, but I mean, honestly, like, you must be starving for human connection, right? Because,
yeah,
well, I mean, you know, I have options, right? Or I have my rotation. It's funny to hear a woman tell me she has a rotation. But I mean, I never assumed
you've heard
she
a woman
don't.
say this to you.
Oh yeah.
Wow, you're just all the way a hoe. You don't even realize being a hoe is bad.
Well, it's not. There is, man, Wesley. There is no shame for women anymore. Women don't feel the amount of shame that women used to feel. Because if you was to say, damn, girl, you got a rotation? Woo! Like,
a woman with a rotation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man, listen.
You don't even have the same physical needs for sex that men do. And you were just... wow.
Wesley, they would tell you...
That's all the way a rent-a-gent situation.
Women have just as much sexual desire as men.
No, they do not.
Women would tell you... I mean, I swear.
Women will tell you that. 100, but it's just... Dude... When women ask me about we think about sex just much. I'm like, no.
You shut down a quarter of the month. Your body shuts down for a quarter of the month, bitch.
100. Quarter of the month, 12 times a year. You do not think about sex like men do. But these alpha widows will gaslight you into thinking that shit. They'll make you question. You know what? Because we crave sex just as bad because of equal.
Because of equal.
Because of equal. Yeah, dude. People aren't the same. I'm not Shaquille O'Neal. Women, you're not men with sexual desire. Men have done so many dumb, stupid things over sex. Dumb, stupid things. Robert Kraft, owner of the fucking Patriots, arrested down in Florida because went to a rub and tug massage parlor. This dude is, I mean,
rich.
What would it
wealthy.
be for him? What would it be for him to have a $5,000 bitch?
Nothing.
This is a guy who writes checks to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the rest of the Patriots team. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are very rich. Robert Kraft is wealthy. Men make dumb decisions over sex. Have you ever heard of a fucking massage place where men are getting arrested for fingering women or getting them off in any way? It doesn't even exist. I dare you to find a court case over this. I dare you to find that. It doesn't even exist. Every city has massage parlors. Every fucking major city. It's insane. The market doesn't lie, guys. I know, but I can hear the woman voice, but I want it to be this way so that we're equal. Bitch, you ain't equal. Anthony, how can these alpha widows, I don't want to leave this like unclosed. How can alpha widows become the grocery store instead of the convenience store?
Stop.
How can these alpha widows...
I'm being Michael Jordan right now. Stop it. Get some help.
Alpha widows, you need therapy.
Yeah, all day. It's kind of trendy to say you need therapy these days, but man, in reality, when you're not over your past, when your past constantly haunts you and make you make decisions based on your past, you're not over it yet. You need help. You need someone to talk to. You shouldn't be getting in relationships. You shouldn't be trying to mold somebody into somebody they're not because you want the person you can't have, or who left you, who dropped you, who you couldn't get to commit to you. There's so much that you should be able to have accomplished in your life, but you've never been able to let your past go. You gotta get over it, and you gotta figure out how you can get help to help yourself get over it before you cause harm to someone else. Like you women don't realize that.
No,
the
Anthony. Let me change the word realize. Women don't care that they're hurting people. They really don't. They don't have a lot of value for others' feelings other than their own.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question, Wesley. Was there ever a shift in your life where you had to say, "I'll never let a woman ever be able to treat me this way again"? Was there ever like a hump in your life where you're like, I'm never going to go down this path again?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually something super specific, though. We talked about earlier where I had a job interview, and I was like, oh, I made this horrible mistake, but I learned this one lesson. And it was typically, I didn't start to hate all women and do all this weird shit. It was typically like, oh, okay, from now on, I will never let a bitch do X to me ever again. This one thing. But I don't need to proclaim it in my dating profile.
No shit.
I don't need to give them the list of W, X, Y, and Z of what I'm not going to put up with. Because it's not attractive, is it?
No.
It's not attractive to women. It's not attractive to men. We've given this analogy many times on this program. The waiter comes up to you in a nice restaurant. Oh, excuse me. You guys are ready to order? What can I get you? Well, I'm going to tell you what I don't want. I don't want any of these goddamn fried oysters. Fuck fried oysters. All caps. Fuck fried oysters. Okay, sir. Definitely won't bring the fried oysters. Can I get you anything to eat, though? Tell you what I won't do. Fried oyster po' boys. Ain't going to do it. Hell no. Okay. No problem, sir. Can I get you something to eat? Tell you what I'm not going to eat. Some Greek fucking salad. Fuck the Greeks and fuck the salads. Ain't going to do it.
That sounds racist.
I have a very close friend that's Greek, so I felt like I could pull that joke off, but a lot of people don't know. That's a very good take. It's a bad way to order, isn't it? It's a bad way to get. It's an ineffective way of getting a great meal, isn't it? Telling everybody like what you don't want.
How much patience is that waiter going to have before they would just walk away?
Well, I mean, are you going to get a good experience from that waiter?
No.
But
guess what? Guess what I'm going to do if I'm the waiter?
Spend as few minutes there as I possibly can.
Man, either that or I'm going to be like, hey, man, put some oyster juice on this bitch. I'm going to give you exactly what you say you don't want. But that's exactly what happens in the dating field. When you are constantly saying what you don't want, think about what you.
It almost like it manifests itself.
That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah, man.
Women are so big on talking about speaking into existence. What you think you're doing when you do this?
The other part of it is, if you're a man and you're a sociopath, or if you're just a clever player type.
Yeah, I know your weaknesses.
I know your weaknesses. This doesn't serve you. It doesn't make you look attractive.
No.
And you're attracting the exact wrong kind of guy.
Because, Wesley, that's what they're attracted to.
Right. Well, exactly. But you're attracting exactly that kind of guy and the simps. I mean, that's who you're attracting. I mean, if I ran a store, I wouldn't put a sign outside. Don't bring your ass in here if you've been vaccinated for COVID.
Wow.
Don't even try it. Don't bring your ass in here.
Or unvaccinated.
We have cut off half the population. Half the population thinks vaccination's good for COVID. Half doesn't. And I'm cutting off my nose to spite my face.
Right.
Because I'm just being emotional.
Dumbass.
And let me be honest. This is going to hurt. Ladies, I need you to brace yourself. This one's going to fucking hurt. Ladies, if you're on the dating market and you're older, what age are we going to give this? 32, Anthony? 30, 35?
They going to say, that ain't old.
Ladies, if you are 36 years old and you're on the dating market,
Danger's out.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice because they can still have kids. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give them all the room in the world. If you're 36 years old and you're on the dating market, ladies, you're not fooling anybody. Nobody wanted you up to this point. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy, right?
Well, this is when
they think this is a secret. I swear to God, they think this is some kind of secret. They really do. It's just like, ladies.
Well, that's when they start shifting and changing mindsets and like coming to some kind of fruition, and they'll play the chameleon and be like, "What do you want me to be so we can get married? Anything, just
and then when we get married, I'll just go back to what I was doing before."
Right, exactly. Right. Once they accomplish and feel accomplished, oh, I got that. That's why a lot of women that have been married and get divorced, they're not interested in marriage anymore. They already did that, right? Now they just want the man for his resource. Now I just need somebody to take care of me, provide for me, all this Instagram fantasy lifestyle bullshit.
And you know what that looks like? This just came to me. You know what that looks like? I worked in sales for a lot of years. We all know that desperate, thirsty salesman, don't we?
Oh yeah, you can smell it.
He's about to get fired. He hasn't made a sale in a while. He's desperate. And he's just the human condition that we live in. It's like you can't hide it. When you are only looking for a man as a monetary resource, ladies, you can't hide it.
Nope.
And there's no reason I should take a woman who's an alpha widow. There's no way I should take a woman that's an alpha widow who has the maturity of a 21-year-old who has 4 kids by 3 different dudes. There's no way I should take this alpha widow with all this baggage and the maturity of a young chick when I could just have a young chick with no kids and none of this baggage. Sorry, alpha widows. You've been canceled. The fellas listening to this, we got to cancel the alpha widows. Guys, I cannot stress enough. This is the worst kind of woman you could date God forbid, like Will Smith, marry. Parting words, Anthony?
Man, I just want y'all to be safe in these streets.
These alpha widows are out there.
Man, they chameleons out here. They'll pretend just long enough to get what they want. We talked about this forever on this program. Vet.
We cannot stress vetting enough. We made a point that 2021 was going to be the year talking about vetting. I hope this helps you guys identify alpha widows. We have stood on the table and told you guys this is the absolute worst kind of woman you can date. As Anthony said, stay safe out here in this jungle. Do not let an alpha widow jump out of a tree and snag you like Jada did Will Smith. Rest in peace, Will Smith. I'm sorry that happened to you, dog. There's no coming back from this. Thank you guys for making us a part of your week. I am Wesley.
I am Anthony.
And we would like to thank you for listening to
The Red Pill on Tap.